There was once a young boy named Samir. He lived in a small village by the sea. Every morning, before sunrise, Samir walked down to the shore with his fishing net. The air was cool and quiet. The world was still asleep. He wasn't a skilled fisherman. He was just learning. But he had a dream. He wanted to catch his first fish. On the first day, he threw his net into the water and waited. Nothing came back. The second day, he tried again. Still nothing. Days passed, then weeks. Every time his net came back empty. People in the village began to laugh. Some said, "Samir, maybe there are no fish where you go." Others said, "You're wasting your time." But Samir remembered what his father used to tell him before he passed away. His father once said, "Consistency is like the tide. You don't always see it moving, but it changes everything in time." Those words stayed in Samir's heart. So every morning, he continued walking to the sea. He threw his net into the water and waited patiently. When he came back empty-handed, he would quietly say, "Tomorrow will be better." He repaired his net, cleaned it, and prepared again for the next day. He didn't complain. He didn't stop. He just kept going. Other fishermen teased him. "Why do you keep doing this?" they said. "You haven't caught anything for a month." Samir simply smiled and said, "Because every time I try, I learn something new." Still, there were nights when he felt tired and hopeless. Sometimes he sat by the water, staring at the dark waves, thinking, "Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm wasting my time." But then, a small voice inside him would whisper, "Try one more time." By the 60th day, his hands were rough and full of cuts. The salty air had made his skin dry. But his determination was strong. He began to see that the sea was not just testing his patience. It was teaching him something deeper. He was learning to stay calm, to trust the process, and to believe even when nothing seemed to work. One day, an old fisherman who had been watching him said, "Samir, you may not have caught fish yet, but you're catching something more important: consistency." Those words changed the way Samir saw everything. From that day, he stopped fishing just to catch fish. He started fishing to grow as a person. Days passed. One morning, after almost 3 months, Samir pulled up his net and saw a small fish inside. It was tiny, but his face lit up with joy. He thanked the sea and released the fish back into the water. It wasn't about the fish anymore. It was about becoming someone who doesn't give up. As time went on, Samir noticed changes. He could throw his net farther. He became quicker, calmer, and more confident. He started to feel peace even when the sea stayed silent. Then one day, a storm came. The sky turned dark and the waves grew wild. Everyone stayed indoors. But Samir, still walked to the sea, holding his net tightly. He looked at the storm and said, "Today, too, I will try." He threw his net into the water. The wind was strong and rain soaked his clothes. He struggled to hold on, but he refused to let go. Then suddenly, the net felt heavy. He started pulling. It pulled back. His heart raced. He pulled again with all his strength. When he finally brought the net to shore, he couldn't believe his eyes. It was full of fish, dozens of them. His hands were shaking. He fell to his knees and smiled. That day, he filled 3 baskets with fish. He didn't sell them. He shared them with the village. 10 families had food that day because of him. The same people who had once laughed now stood amazed. They said, "You never gave up, Samir. You kept going when no one believed in you." Samir smiled and said, "I didn't fight the sea. I learned to move with it." That day, Samir understood something important. Consistency is not about being perfect. It's about not quitting. It's not about how fast you go. It's about how long you keep going, even when nothing seems to change. The reward wasn't just the fish. The real reward was the patience, the strength, and the belief that grew inside him. So if you're chasing a goal or trying to build a habit, remember Samir's story. Don't stop because the results are slow. Keep casting your net. Keep showing up. Because one day, when you least expect it, your efforts will pay off, all at once. That's the true power of consistency.